Okay, hello and welcome. My name is Stevan. I'm a communications consultant at Reshaping Work, and I have a great privilege to be able to welcome Rani, who is a senior economist at the International Labour Organization and one of the co-authors of the recent detailed look into the emergence, growth, and challenges of so-called non-standard forms of work. So let's begin by a very simple question. Many people approach the topic from different angles. What exactly do we mean by non-standard forms of work? People talk about gig economy, platform economy, and a variety of different expressions. Maybe you can take a second just to map out how ILO has decided to set the boundaries of what the report is about and what the report analyzes.
I think this particular report that you're talking about, the role of digital labor platforms in transforming the world of work, that basically looks at workers working on location-based platforms and online web-based platforms, whom we call as either gig workers or platform workers, as they are task-based. And this is only one element of the broader concept of non-standard forms of employment, which basically includes temporary work, part-time work, and other self-employed types of work. So gig work is part and parcel of that. And we look into the report into the opportunities and the challenges that exist for the workers around the world in these two platforms that I spoke about.
Why is this so important? What's behind the growth of the so-called platform economy? What forces are driving this growth? How is it beneficial? Why is it benefiting the business community? And how is it beneficial to workers?
I think why it is very important to look at the platform businesses is because it's a new business model that has come up, which is to a very large extent promoted by venture capital investments, because there are a couple of things that become very important with platforms. One of them is data, because they collect a large amount of data of both the workers and businesses, and this data can be utilized for different purposes. It can be used for algorithmic management, where it's used for machine learning algorithms, but at the same time, that data can be used to diversify products or services among a whole range of businesses. So this is growing exponentially over the past decade. And what we do say in the report is, even if you look at the narrow segments or sectors, like the taxi, delivery, or online, you see a five-fold increase over the past decade. And while there is a growth of these platforms, I think there are certain specificities which becomes very attractive for businesses to get into, because, if you want to set up a platform business, it's very easy. You do not need a lot of capital investment. It's very asset light, because you're shifting all the responsibility of, investments onto the workers, maintenance onto the workers, and you just use the workers to get the tasks that are to be done. So you only pay part of the labor cost, which is the task-based, while you do not have any other costs to pay. And if you think that this business is not really working well, you can actually shut down and you will not be affected, because all the risks and responsibilities are actually transferred to the workers. So they are the ones who bear the huge burdens of insecurity. And I think for us at the ILO, it's very important to look at the segment as to how workers are getting affected. And I think fundamentally the platform business, it depends upon which lens you take to look at. If you take the lens of looking at it from the online labor platform world, you see that it's a new form of outsourcing, where firms, instead of subcontracting it to smaller firms within the country or outside in other geographical regions, you don't need to do that. You can now farm out or outsource work 24/7 to workers across the globe who are willing to do it for whatever price and get it done. So, you know, it's a new form of outsourcing model that is coming up at the online labor platform level, which further precaritizes workers. And at the location-based platforms, again, what these platforms do, there's a notion that exists that they create jobs. They don't really create jobs. All these jobs are there. What it does is it uses technology to mediate workers with consumers, customers, or clients. So if you're talking about a taxi driver, and if you're talking about a taxi driver in a developing country, what it does is a taxi driver exists, but this technology comes and connects the driver with the consumer. So what it does in that process is many of these workers in developing countries are self-employed. So, you know, they really have the flexibility, control, autonomy, and freedom over their work. But now, being entangled with this technology of the platform, they're actually subservient to it, but they do not enjoy any of the flexibility or autonomy. In return, they are further precaritized in the process. While in the advanced or developed world, what you would see is that you have the platforms coming in, luring a whole lot of other people to come in and use it for the flexibility, and they start to disrupt the local traditional labor market. They do that in both the countries, whether developing or advanced, but the way they do it is quite different. So this has huge implications for the workers, and that's why for us, it's very important to look at how can we protect workers who are working on these platforms.